Alex Answer here, and all these videos are looking different. But yes, this is kind of a rapid fire number of videos produced on a number of topics that I've been thinking about over the course of the last week. Let me plug this in. So I want to talk about the Bundy situation, and it was last year. It was at the end of 2015. You can find those videos. That was when my videos were first demonetized. Sensitive videos that got into controversial topics, is when I was talking about the Burns, Oregon, or Bundy psyops. At the time I was trolled quite a bit, attacked quite a bit for not getting behind the bottom line and not encouraging people to go to Oregon to support the Bundys. And I believe that was an FBI operation. There's a lot of things. I actually don't know that I've actually brought up the guy's name in a while because the whole thing was chilling. But I told you that there was a guy that came to Costilla County by the name of Bruce Doucette who claimed to be a judge, right? He was a self-appointed judge. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can get a quick summary, read an article by Kyle Reardon about the fake judges. All these people declaring themselves judges in the year 2015. And then going to these areas where people having issues, right, with local police, local counties, in my case, in the case for a few off-gridders in Colorado, it was Costilla County, Colorado. So once I get out there on YouTube, that there's this issue going on, people getting kicked off their land for not being up to the caught up to code, the land use code, having a septic system. RVs no longer allowed. These people, I suspected, were really working for the feds. Now, Bruce Doucette went from Costilla County, 2015, fall. By the winter, he was in Burns, Oregon. It has been revealed that Bruce Doucette was surrounded by FBI operatives. Those would be the ones that he claimed were the marshals. That came out a few months ago because Bruce has been behind bars. Other people have been behind bars, more or less regarding Burns, Oregon, quite a few people. And in that situation, including Pete Santilli, I would say there's a lot of people that got off just as I thought, with barely a slap on the wrist. I mean, come on, do you think that's doing time? Getting a year for taking a firearm and being a part of a takeover? Try that in the hood. Try being somebody else. People want to say they got off because they're white. More race baiting. Be an average white person and do what they did. You ain't going to get off. Okay? You're going to get hit with some terrorism charges, some major stuff. No, it's not because they're white. It's because this was an FBI operation. They wanted to see what kind of response they were going to get from the people. Their first trial run was down in Nevada. And again, I'm just going by gut instinct. People say, that's crazy. That's blasphemy. Hey, this ain't religion. Don't act like this is blasphemy. Keep your panties on. Pull your pants up. Wipe that snot off your face, right? Act like an adult. Think about how difficult it would be for the government to rally people around something, to start collecting names and numbers of the radical extremists. They already did it with Mark Kessler. And Mark Kessler went on the Alan Combs show and admitted it. And he went out there and he was firing off firearms into the forest and saying libtard this, libtard that. He was acting like he was pro Second Amendment, but it was a trap. He was working for the FBI the whole time. So what was I saying? I was saying there's something wrong with it's like they're FBI informants. It's like the FBI is putting them up to something. And right now, to this day, that hasn't officially come out. I'm saying to you, they're hiding that. And you're seeing these people get off for a reason. Pete Santilli is back on the street for a reason. There was a reason when he was arrested in Cleveland, Ohio, that they let him go after he was arrested with a firearm that wasn't registered in his name. They let him go. Weeks later, he's in Burns, Oregon. John Ritzmeyer, remember him? And this is also coordinated. See, I know a lot of you are passionate about certain issues regarding immigration and things of that nature, but it has been proven that on social media that there was tampering to a certain degree. I wouldn't say so much for their election, but was swaying public opinion and even organizing particular rallies outside specific mosques in Texas, in particular in Texas. Now, I find it interesting that they highlighted that, and that's where Ritzmeyer was, at least Texas and Arizona, who I already suspected of being a Fed, John Ritzmeyer, the guy in that famous YouTube video, Daddy made an oath, Daddy made an oath. The whole, I'm going to go on a suicide mission, blah, blah, blah. Daddy made an oath. This was on Blaine Cooper's channel. Blaine Cooper, featured by Christopher Green of AMTV, during the period in which it looks like Blaine Cooper was on steroids, confronting John McCain and then being misrepresented as a veteran, but not correcting the RT anchor when Cooper was being interviewed. So for a mini period of time, Cooper was like, oh, an all-American, roided up icon against John McCain through that viral AMTV YouTube video. It was then that Cooper, looking a lot smaller than the Cooper with arms like this, with more arms like this, but still very muscular and still be able to push 4 plates, and showing off on his YouTube channel. And then, boom, coming out of the gate, featuring John Ritzmeier, and then that video being shared and shared and shared. And then Bundy's son also with that speech that was made. And see, that moment when I saw that, that video, that call to action by the Bundy son, I knew something was up. Eamon Bundy. With that individual, I felt an actor. And then people are acting like this guy is Jesus Christ, insulting me for not drinking the Kool-Aid. And literally think about the strategic errors here. You don't ask for food to be sent in that could be poisoned. You never hear about parents checking Halloween candy so their kids don't get. I mean, think about the logic here. Think about the logic of not going up prepared. Now, again, we look at the sentences. How many people have gone home? How many people are in their own beds? I'm not saying that I'm upset and I wish they were in prison. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it isn't because they're white. It's because they were part of a federal operation. And they got that guy that was part Japanese, and they made like a little mini documentary about, oh, he's a samurai. His strong spirit came and saved the day. Literally, we have people with mental health episode breakdowns being celebrated as heroes. We have Pete Santilli popularized by, he said Hillary Clinton should be shot in the vagina. Me saying that that's stupid isn't a vote for Hillary Clinton, as a disclaimer. But when you have somebody like that, that's actually also called for U.S. military cargo being transported on U.S. railways to be looted. Did you know that? Did you know that Pete Santilli has called for U.S. military equipment on railroads to be looted? There is video of him doing that as well. He's back out in the street. All these guys got a slap on the hands. And it's like people don't even realize. It's like they watch these movies where there's corruption. They don't even realize it's not just a movie. And you can have someone literally go down for a year, go down for 2 years, and people really think it's a trial. But in the end, there ain't no trial. That person's also not going to get 10 years or 20 years. They're going to get off with a plea bargain, and the people down below won't even know the entire thing was a show, was a honeypot. There's another thing that I want to tell you. Gary Hunt was silenced by a judge. This actually got in the way of one friendship, unfortunately, because of the sensitivity involving it. I didn't want to get too close, especially doing with this list. And Gary Hunt is an asshole and has let his politics, his right politics, get in the way of him having allies. But he's someone that's also suspect from what I've heard and seen online with regards to his past and some of his past associations. But Gary Hunt, investigative journalist, allegedly had a list of active FBI informants at Burns, Oregon. And I was discussing this last year. All this was relevant because, again, the videos were demonetized by exposing the Burns psyops. First time I started to see my videos were demonetized, people weren't even really seeming to comment or show understanding. There are people that really seem to be like pro, just the Hammonds, but it's like, yes, I understand, but unfortunately, this is a bigger situation. We really need to be covering the fact that it's a psyops. The government is waging war on the people by trying to dupe them into this. And I made the prediction years ago, and I'll keep bringing it up because we could be edging closer to it, that Alex Jones is their agent in place, will play a role in sending Americans to their death, a slaughter. It's probably going to be some sort of BLM war with, say, Chinese troops, Texas-Mexico border, something to that effect. But it is clear that people will fall for the propaganda that he will put out. People will die for a cause, right? If there's enough propaganda pointing them in that direction. Alex Jones wasn't playing a role in promoting Burns, Oregon, but in fact was playing a more skeptical role. They didn't get a massive response with regards to Burns, Oregon. But with that and the initial situation at the Bundy Ranch, so Bundy Ranch 1, and you can even say Bundy 2 in Burns, Oregon, the government got a chance to see, even with inside Facebook itself, the CIA controlling it, and being able to gauge what type of response the people were planning and how many people would actually come up in the very end to fight the government as all this was being televised. Literally nothing, very little. And what little, not very difficult for them to get their license plates and put them into a database and to see what other networks. But see, their first major extravaganza, like all the data you could mine, was the first Bundy. And I actually remember somebody up in Portland at the time asked me when I was not even in a good situation, just getting back to Portland, just getting a car, if I would consider driving from Portland down to the Bundy Ranch to get some of his bros. And it's like the thinking process of a lot of these so-called survivalists is in the gutter. You want to be a survivalist? You want to be a prepper? You go off the radar. You avoid these high profile situations. You want to be an advocate? You want to be an activist? Hey, sunshine, wake up. Americans are being kicked off their own land. You're going to tell me the Hammonds are more important than everyday Mom, Pa, Joe, and Janes that don't have very much money? No, I think that the people that are being kicked off their land because they don't have septic systems need a political party and a voice. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, George Bush, all these other people, they're doing nothing for private property rights. It's as if the off-gridders don't even exist, which is why it doesn't even make sense for off-gridders, and I'm off-grid, but for other off-gridders to be left or right. Okay, maybe sometimes in some ways they're sucking off the tit of the system. I don't know what their deal is. Too much Facebook. But I don't see Democrats or Republicans on even a state or Senate level. Doesn't mean I'm an anarchist. I'm just saying, like, we need someone in office, in power, if you will, that would stand up for the little guy as long as he or she is not contaminating the environment or hurting the neighbor or themselves. They should be able to be left alone and in peace. And if we had a revolution in consciousness in this society, you would not see so much homelessness on the street. You wouldn't. And I think that's something that a lot of people deserve, to have communities where they invested a lot in their homes, to not see people parked outside and in overnight, and to have homeless coming and going. Society shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't all be boxed into the cities. We should have more freedom in this country. So I'm part of the freedom movement. And I've been asking for years, where are my brothers and sisters in the freedom movement? This whole thing with the Hammonds and the Burns thing and the Bundy thing, these are psychological operations to divert from the real freedom movement, right? You want to help me fight for the rights of others? Or you want to help me do what I do? Or you want to bring me information about what is an update in Costilla County or somewhere else? By all means, do it. Be one of the first. But I'll let you know right now that I don't know whether it's social media, the technology addiction, the euphoria from the last election, but we are more divided than ever over ridiculous, superficial things. And people that have chosen to divide over politics because some people have chosen to remain independent to judge them, right? They ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, okay? Because this type of divide was by design. You can be independent and not be a Trump supporter and not be with Antifa. What kind of thinking is that? That you're only with one or the other? Can't you just be a human being? Can't you just be a human being? Apparently not. Apparently, a lot of people are fucked up in the membrane to the point of no recall. So, will they fall for another one? Do you think Americans, again, bronchitis, I got something bad. Do you think that Americans have woken up to what this psyops really means and what's coming? Because the public land issue is important. The BLM issue is important. All these issues are important. But the issue is, if it's a psyops led to discredit the activists, and that's really, really bad. And it's time that people look at John Ritzmeier, who's only getting a year. They look at Blaine Cooper. They look at Eamon Bundy. They look at the young samurai, if you will. All these people back home sleeping in their bed. Pete Santilli, and you were dealing with an armed movement. Even if you were on their side, try that being yourself. Do that yourself, and even see if there's a legal counsel like Eamon Bundy had come to your aid. See if you get off in 1 year, or see if it's more like 10 to 20. People need to start really looking at why these guys got off. That's all for now, folks. I'm out of here. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next video.